It's been a while since I've done the countdown of my favorite haunted filming locations around Los Angeles. It's been going fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it, but it's been a busy time for me right now. And why am I in Los Angeles at this point? Well, because it's Fast Track Week. The International Screenwriters Association Fast Track Week is going on right now. I'm in Los Angeles in part for that. And if you are a screenwriter or a storyteller of any kind, hang out till the end and I'll talk a little bit more about that because it's a very interesting thing. But yeah, I'm at one of my favorite locations in the greater LA area, a town that I lived in for about half the time I was in Los Angeles, which is Culver City, and a place that was really known as Screenland once upon a time. And really, Culver City is named after Harry Culver, but it should really be named after Thomas Ince, because, well, he did have a place up the coast called Inceville, and it would have been cool if they brought that name along with him when he moved his studio here. But instead of Inceville, we have the Culver Studios, which is right behind me right here. I am going to do a deeper dive. For these videos, I'm trying to keep it fairly short, under 10 minutes. I'm long-winded. We'll see if I can make that happen on a live video. But Thomas Ince was a remarkable person who got started in the silent era. He was really interested in making westerns, so he came out to the greater LA area. The company he was working with set up shop in, I believe, close to where modern day Silver Lake would be. But then he eventually convinced his bosses to buy this land up towards Malibu, a lot of land. And then after working as a director for a couple of years, he had earned enough money to buy that land from his employers and then lease way more land, like another 200 acres, to create a place known as Inceville. And that's where so much innovation happened when it comes to filmmaking. He is the Henry Ford of the film industry, and created kind of what's nicknamed the assembly line style of production, which sounds really bad. It sounds uncreative. It sounds like you're just checking off the boxes. But really, back in the day, a director did everything from coming up with the idea to casting to set design, everything. But Thomas Ince was the one that said, we should really have specialized jobs. So, and it's apropos that this video is going to go to the International Screenwriters Association website as well, because he's the guy that invented the job of screenwriter, amongst many other jobs like assistant directors, producers. But yeah, Thomas Ince was a remarkable person. He was lured down to Culver City by Harry Culver when he had taken over this area. Unfortunately, there's a lot of darkness when it comes to Mr. Culver. His ideas were quite backward politically, as far as discrimination. Minorities weren't allowed to own land, things like that. So Culver City itself has a pretty checkered past because of Harry Culver. But Thomas Ince was a remarkable person, and he was lured down here, down the coast, because Culver was able to show him that, hey, you'll have, I believe it was something like 12 more shooting days a year because you're not going to have as many weather issues. So I do want to talk about Culver Studios, and again, we're talking haunted filming locations. So it seems like it's way too cheap to call a studio a haunted filming location, and it would be, because, everything shoots at studios. But this location featured on camera in a number of times. Again, I'm going to do a much deeper dive on all of this on What's Your Ghost Story, my personal channel. But for now, if you're watching this on the ISA page, head over there and subscribe, and you can take the deeper dive with me in the near future. But I will say, and maybe it's not the most celebrated or remarkable thing, but this location was where they shot the final season of Scrubs, back when they made it a teaching, basically a school, not a hospital anymore. And they shot right out here in the front yard, a whole bunch, and they made it seem like a college campus in a way. But if you know the area, you definitely know, like, oh yeah, those are back lots and studios. But way more impressively, however, again, you got to tamp down that excitedness. Yes, this is the house from Gone with the Wind, kind of, as they're walking up to this new big grand house. But really what they did is they had a camera set behind where I'm standing, and they had a plate over it. So they had a different house painted on board, but the gates that we see here, the fencing and the wall, all of that is depicted in the film. However, the house itself that they're walking towards is a painting that's overlaid on a glass plate. So, and I always like to talk about not only at Culver Studios, but right back here, the Culver Hotel. Again, another great place that I love a lot. Both of these locations were used a lot in Arrested Development, the TV show. I mean, these gates right here, these security gates, that was the security gate for Lucille Bluth's luxury apartment. So anytime you see her coming and going down the driveway, that's right here. Up until fairly recently, this whole walkway that I'm standing right next to used to be just a road that was cut off from actual traffic, but just used as a shooting location as well. But yeah, Arrested Development used the courtyard here next to the Culver Hotel quite a bit. They shot in the Culver Hotel a ton, over and over again, as a bunch of different locations. If you're a geek for that show like I am, Jason Bateman's character having meetings with Judy Greer's character as she's trying to blackmail the company, that happened right there, in the same exact place where he and Julia Louis-Dreyfus go out on their first dates. They have their weird, I don't know if you call it a meet cute, since that was all about conning each other over and over again, but that is right here too. Filming locations, right here, all around here really, because Culver Studios is here. This is where the pilot of Star Trek was filmed. This is where I Love Lucy was filmed. There's so many things through the years. Beetlejuice, the bridge scene from It's a Wonderful Life was filmed here. There's a whole bunch. Obviously that's filmed on the back lot, but not so much that features the back lot itself. So I would love to get more input if other people know of things that were shot in the front yard or on the set, on the site where you can see the buildings themselves. But Harry Culver is seen here. Oh, and how did I get this far into this without talking about Wizard of Oz? Because that was shot right across the street here at this studio. And very famously, the small actors, the Munchkins, they were housed in this building here. Oh yes, Under the Rainbow, a really bad Chevy Chase movie that talked about that specifically, shot here, basically on location, because they were talking about the Munchkins in that movie. But yeah, Harry Culver is seen there. He had a second floor office, but he's seen even today walking throughout the building. He's an active spirit that, I don't know if he's keeping tabs on things or if it's a residual haunting, but he is seen here. There are a lot of voices heard as well, including a lot of people thinking that it was the Munchkins that are still making their presence known because they had such a good time here. Some of the legends of the parties that went on here, I'm sure, are just crazy urban legends. But I also think that they probably did have a really good time here because they were surrounded with a bunch of people that know their life experience quite a bit. So I'm sure it was a beloved place for them. But looking ahead, looking across as I am right now at Culver Studios, it's Thomas Ince, who is still observed here quite a bit. And really interestingly and famously, well, he's more known now today for his demise. He died on the Oneida William Randolph Hearst's boat on a party for Thomas Ince. And there's conspiracy theories about what exactly went down. Something went down. Something bad went down, and William Randolph Hearst, who was a obviously major newspaper owner, the reports that came out within his own papers changed and evolved over time. The first reporting doesn't match the later reporting, so something was covered up at some point. But whatever the case, the common and fairly popular urban legend, I should say legend, is that William Randolph Hearst mistook Thomas Ince for Charlie Chaplin, who was also on the boat. And he was very jealous of Chaplin because, well, he was maybe making some passes at Marion Davies, or at least they were hanging out together a little bit more than William Randolph Hearst liked. And that was Hearst's girl, one of his girls, his main girl on the side, I guess you would say. And so is it possible that William Randolph Hearst shot Thomas Ince thinking he was shooting at Charlie Chaplin, and Ince ended up dying on Chaplin's behalf? It's unfortunate that Thomas Ince's life is remembered so much for how he died, because what he did while he was alive was really remarkable, and again, a huge filmmaking pioneer. So as we wrap it up here, I will say that, like I said, it's Fast Track Week. Fast Track, if you are a writer or storyteller of any kind, but specifically to screenwriting, it's a great event. It's a great fellowship that the International Screenwriters Association puts on, where two named fellows get a week of meetings with Hollywood professionals at all different, not levels, but all different professions, the agents, managers, producers, fellow filmmakers, established writers. And the idea is to fast track their career, which it really has been very beneficial for our past fellows. And as somebody that works with the ISA, I know, and I can tell you that some of the first people I ever met, before I met some of my coworkers, were previous fellows, because they become such a part of the family. And the ISA continues to champion their work and to stand up for them and try to celebrate them as much as possible. But the really cool thing is, in addition to having the ISA on your back pocket, is that suddenly you have all of these contacts in the industry. And it's a really great thing that in the future, if you need to talk to one of these people again, you're not a stranger. You wouldn't be making a cold call. You'd be able to talk to somebody that knows who you are. Oftentimes these industry professionals, they end up asking for additional material and they want to read more screenplays from the writer. So mentioning it now because not only are we doing one round right now where we're celebrating these award-winning screenwriters, but we are also open for submissions for the next round. So you can feel free to check that out if you're interested, or pass it along to a friend, a screenwriting friend over at networkisa.org. Thank you for watching. And again, I'm going to do a much deeper dive on this location, and specifically Thomas Ince. So again, you can probably tell, I find him to be a really remarkable person. Thank everybody else for watching live, and I will see you later.